I think we can get into
Spotify.
yeah. Well, the whole thing about distribution and streaming services.
Yeah. Can you run me through how your latest album, the Upside Down album,
Yeah. So
just that process, and then we can contextualize other things through that.
me personally, there's Spotify specifically has a thing where you need to be associated with some sort of distribution.
This can raise, by the way.
Label?
You need to raise
I
it.
think I'm okay. But Spotify specifically, they need to be you need to be associated with some sort of distribution label. You can't distribute anything yourself. It has to go through a third party. And there's a lot of really independent, like do-it-yourself, like distribution.
I've seen this with
stuff out there.
podcasts. There's like Studio 71. I've seen a lot of people under that.
There's something called DistroKid, which is
Oh, dude.
super easy to use. It's not the best for
Every Corey Wong podcast on the Wong Nuts. You ever heard of DistroKid?
it's not the best for like advertising your music or getting out there. You really have to do all the advertising in like yourself and try to get it out there. But they're great for getting stuff out fast and like easy, cheap, and it just gets it out there. And they act as the mediary between you and Spotify as a third party because Spotify requires that. And there's a lot of things to hate and love about that. Especially like Spotify as a streaming service is like one of the worst. The sound quality is really bad. The price is not great. It's okay for like if you're a student, but I'm pretty sure they're raising the price right now. Did you see that? Like a week or two ago.
Yeah.
Spotify forcefully is like, yeah, we're raising the price. Sorry. And I pay student prices, but occasionally, just randomly, they'll like take me off the student plan. I'll be
Dude,
like, why am I paying?
I've been off it and for like 2 months, and I'm trying to get back on.
It's like, why am I paying double the amount I was? And Spotify's like, well, sorry, we just did that. Like, okay, we didn't tell you about it either. Sorry.
Even I was told that on average, Spotify's compression rate is less bad than like even Apple Music.
It's not great, but none of the main streaming services.
I feel like no one is good, but Spotify is the lesser evil. That's what I've been told.
Spotify,
In terms of like bit compression.
their main thing is that they have such a huge library and a stranglehold on streaming services. At least they used to, and they have definitely gotten better because people have been like outcrying so much. They don't pay their artists a whole lot for streaming, but no streaming service does anymore because it's like digital streaming services, and there's not a whole lot of like money to be had there just on streaming. So artists have to rely on merchandise and live tours to make most of their money. And also, it's like such a split. Like if you're working with a label or with a really huge ensemble, like some of the bands I'm in, I manage, there's like a 12-piece ensemble, and then like even gigs, like live performances, you have to split that, and it's like there's like no money to be had. And at that point, it's just like a passion project thing just to make good music. But if you're a solo artist putting stuff on Spotify, I just do my albums for fun. Like over summer, I have free time. I'm like, I'll just make a summer album. But if I was doing it like as a job and I was signed with a label and all this stuff, then you would make like no money off of Spotify or streaming, stuff like that. There's other streaming services like Tidal, which are way better. They cost a little bit more, but in the catalog they have is slightly less, but the bit rate is way higher. They give you access to the masters, like the actual studio masters on Tidal, and they let you interact with the artist more. They let you like donate to stuff, which Spotify added because they noticed like other streaming services had, and now you can like, if you're an artist, you can put on like your Spotify thing, like, oh, donate to this, or like you can put your merch tabs. But before it was like nothing. You couldn't do any like that.
I've seen a couple special edition vinyl stuff.
On like the artist page in Spotify, yeah.
Not even that, but only people who follow them get the email. I got that for Cody Fry recently. He has a clear vinyl of his thing coming out. I think the main one's black, but he has like a special edition clear that you can get.
Vinyl's been coming back. I think like 2019 was the first year that vinyl outsold CDs, which like of course it
Really?
did, because
That's
CD.
crazy.
It's been like I don't know, like 30 like decades since CDs had outsold vinyl, but finally people are getting back into vinyl because I think a lot of it's because of the aesthetic, because vinyls just look cooler and they feel cooler and they're like a cool display item, but also the sound quality. If you have a nice vinyl player and you have a nice like headphone amp and nice headphones, then it sounds so crisp and amazing. They do deteriorate over time, but they're really cool to collect as well, and I have a decent collection.
The thing that I like about vinyl the most is that it's more It's the way old cars are. If you want to get in an old car, there's like 5 steps. You gotta unlock the thing. You gotta switch keys. You gotta put it in the ignition. If you want to get in the glove box, there's another key for that. There's another key for the trunk. You gotta roll down the windows, right?
You gotta brush the vinyl and switch the needle and
I mean, with a CD, you go, zoom, and it is like.
And also, the quality is way worse.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. CDs are cool. I just don't like how they feel physically.
Yeah.
I always feel like I gotta put the thumb in the hole in the middle. With vinyls, you can kind of just pick them up sometimes, depending on the vinyl.
The coolest thing is just seeing it spin. It's like physically, dude, like, ooh, look at it.
Especially like the paint splatter ones.
Yeah, or the ones really that cool. like have cool designs on it where you can see like something moving when it spins.
Oh, okay, yeah. I have a weird rule with vinyls. I will only get a vinyl if it originally came out on vinyl or if it's some special edition.
If it's a reprint, you won't get it?
Well, I'll get a reprint, but it had to, like, I have a reprint of Village of the Vanguard and Waltz for Debbie.
Yeah.
Because it was like $15 for both. I was like, dude.
Yeah, why not?
Why I could buy, because I wanted the pink, the pink cover for Waltz for Debbie, but I was like, it's $15. I'm going to get it. But those originally came out on vinyl. Same with, I have a couple pop albums that had vinyl releases originally. Like Songs About Jane by Maroon 5. Yeah. Such a good album. And then Some Nights by Fun had a vinyl release originally, so I have those because they're just classic pop albums. But yeah. I won't go and buy freaking Death of a Bachelor on vinyl.
Because it's still so much more convenient to just stream your music, but I feel like
I got the Charlie Brown Christmas on vinyl. Like, you have to have that on vinyl.
Oh my God, Vince Guaraldi. Whew. Oh. It's so much more rewarding listening. It's like becomes more of an activity listening to music.
Yes.
And it's because sometimes when you just stream it on a platform, it's just like background music. But when you put music on like
you can't leave the room. Yeah, you can't take it with you.
Yeah.
The thing that I feel like is lost with that before we move on from vinyl stuff is the listen to the album all the way through thing.
Yes.
There's a recent video that came out that I still need to watch. I've been talking about watching it for a while. It's called The Playlistification of Music.
Yeah,
that video.
I've seen that, yeah.
Did they make any good points? Because my whole issue is that, like, album from start to finish is a story, and then the context of other songs raise the gravity of other songs. Yeah. So, like, within the context, the album itself is lifted, but out of context, those songs are just songs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's a lot of songs on the Some Nights album that were not popular because people didn't have the context of those within the album, and then where they're placed in the album,
I agree.
What comes before that.
There's a lot of albums that people will only just listen to like the singles on the album, but then the rest of the album is so great. And also, if you just listen to it like one after another, with like as
shuffling
an album,
albums is awful.
If you shuffle an album, it's so weird and crazy and it makes no sense. Some albums are some of them are specifically made to be listened like as one product. Like I think
yes,
it was
like they
Tool,
flow into each other.
I think it was Tool, the band, that specifically like boycotted Spotify, because Spotify, when they put their album up, they wanted to put into different songs, but they wanted their album listened to as like one giant like song. And Spotify was like, no, people aren't going to want to listen to that.
Like a 50-minute song?
Yeah, people are like, no, we're not going to do that. And we're just going to like do song. And Tool apparently hated that. But eventually I think they caved in because Spotify is just so massive. Well, and now you can like listen to that.
I've realized that. So they're on, you know how on live albums the audience will blip sometimes? Yeah. Like the audience cheering. On Spotify, it's really clean. The audience blipping. It doesn't happen on there. On Apple Music, I feel like sometimes it happens, but Spotify, the switch is really nice.
One thing I don't like that's been super popular, there's a trend where people will like get two different songs and
turn up the
transition.
The transition to like 15 seconds.
Yeah. The transition on this is crazy. And it's cool that Spotify allows you to do like fade in, fade out transitions, but I don't like that because like a lot of the ends of songs, the ending has so much meaning, and if you just like fade it out, then you can't really hear the end, and it makes the ending feel like meaningless sometimes.
Yeah, I feel like it's a cool gimmick.
Yeah.
If you're making an edit or something, but like in actual practice, it's not.
Yeah, unless because like if an artist wants their song to fade out and then fade into like the next one on an album, they'll like do that.
Yes,
like
the Silk Sonic intro.
Mm-hmm. One of the albums I just mastered, they had this thing where like they it was like a wind sound effect that they wanted to put at the end of one song and the start of another song, and I had to like fade it out and fade it in, and it made it like more connected. The album.
You keep talking. I just got paranoid with that.
Okay.
I get so paranoid. But they don't have a little flashy button in front. That
a little
says
red light flashing.
Yeah. Oh.
But yeah, so I had to do that for them, and it definitely made like a really cool transition into the songs. But if you put like the fade in, fade out thing on Spotify, then you wouldn't even be able to hear it because it's already fade out, fade in. Like I did that.
Yeah, I think the default is no fade though.
Mm-hmm.
But on the live albums, it's really clean.
Yeah.
Which is weird. The Phil Collins Series Hits live album. Have you listened to that?
Yeah.
Dude. One of the greatest live albums ever recorded. But
have you used any other streaming service like Tidal or anything?
I used Apple Music for 3 months because I bought this computer and it gave me it for free. I was like, I'll try it. It was okay. My biggest issue was that I wasn't finding new music. It doesn't promote new music very well.
Spotify has such good playlists. I'll say that about them.
The algorithm I've seen that on a lot of debates. Like Apple Music, I think is like a better product, but Spotify's algorithm is better.
YouTube Music, I love the catalog they have. They have such a unique catalog because there's so many like songs that people just upload to YouTube and like then it becomes part of the YouTube Music, and it's such a unique streaming service. But
so many songs with like 15 views.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Spotify DJ though? It is so weird. It's an AI DJ that talks to you, and it uses an AI voice. And maybe I don't know if I could play it later, but it's like...
You could definitely play it into the microphone.
Yo, what's up? I'm your Spotify DJ. Today, I'm going to play for you some cool, chill music. And then later in the day, I'm going to play some cool, funky... It's like a little AI DJ in your pocket. It's so weird. It's like a radio show.
That seems really useless when they have their Drive to Work playlist.
Yeah.
Because it has its own like NPR stuff in there.
Yeah, it makes it feel like you're listening to like your own personal radio station. It's an interesting like gimmick, but the songs they play are so weird because they play stuff you like. It's like, I'm going to play stuff you've been listening to recently, but I'm also going to throw in some random shit just randomly. And it's interesting. It's definitely cool, but you know, Spotify is weird because the process of getting your music on playlist, which is the only way people find new music on Spotify is through playlists, is super weird and confusing. And you have to...
Yeah, tell me about that.
You have to set a release date in the future, and then you have to upload your music to Spotify before that release date, and it takes multiple days. Spotify takes more time than any other streaming service to just put your music up there, like even if it's just unreleased, to upload it there. And then you have to have your upload date before the release date, and then you have a very small window to go into your Spotify for Artists and like click the thing and basically promote your songs to like Spotify playlist curators and like write a little description, be like, I want this song on this playlist because I feel like it would fit into the lo-fi pop stuff. But if it's already released, then you just like can't do that. It has to be unreleased because they want like brand new music that just came out like instantly, because so much music comes out all the time, and if it's already released, then they're like, oh, it's old, sorry.
That's how YouTube works. I feel like that's pretty normal.
Yeah.
Where you have that waiting period when it's on the site and you could just click public.
Yeah.
But you know, you got to put the thumbnail in, you got to do this description because you can add it to playlists.
But you have to like physically send it to Spotify so they can listen to it and be like, no, this song sucks, sorry.
Really? They can deny you?
Yeah. We're not putting this in this playlist. You kidding me? But
how do you find music? Because the way I find music is very different than most people.
The way I find music is I think the main way I find music is just walking around shops.
Just Shazamming?
And like antique shops, or like sometimes I'll just ask my friends in classes, like, what are you listening to? And they'll always have the best music taste. But some of my favorite songs, I've just been like shopping at like some random antique mall, and I'll like Shazam the song. But this song's great. Oh my God. And that's how I find, or like I'll listen to a radio because sometimes I get bored of just my own playlists I make, and I'll put on like a random radio station. And there's this website where you can, I forgot what it's called. It's like worldradio.com or something like that. And it shows you a map of the entire world and every single radio station. And you can just click on it and like see what's happening in New York or see what's happening in like Poland or UK. And it's super great because you click on it and each country is definitely like, you can tell like that's their music and their culture. And even each state, it's like New York will be like lo-fi jazz, hip hop, and then you'll listen to like
Like San
Texas,
Francisco.
and it'll be a lot more like country and stuff, you know. And I'll do that a lot because it's just super fun to explore the different cultures and different radio stations and hear new music that you've like never heard before.